Hi, Soul Family. It is an excellent day. I love this weather. Cool and overcast. I was actually out last night on the patio, and this is every night with me and Liger, or Liger and I, and it was raining on this. This is so ghetto, isn't that funny? But it gets so freaking hot that there's nothing, we have to have something up here. So I'm laying there last night, and I hear this pitter-patter of the rain, and I love it. I freaking love it. Look at the clouds. Ooh. It's so funny. People are, love California, and the Californians are like, I got a message from my friend from school this morning, my friend Scott, and he's like, it's a beautiful rainy day in Southern California. Because that's like what we want, Oh, Canadian girl, right? Canadian girl here. Okay, we're going to work inside, though, because I have some stuff I want to share with you guys. Let me turn the radio down. I should have something to eat in front of me because I haven't eaten anything this morning and I've got a headache. I was up till like 2 in the morning last night with Liger out there because if anybody knows, it's like animals and babies, right? The kid's comfortable, the cat's comfortable, we can't move, right? Your legs are falling asleep, you're dying. It's the same thing. You're sleeping in bed with your husband or your boyfriend, right? And the guy will say it too, right? He has his arm around and he's like, oh my God, you're killing me. At first when you're dating, it's like, or when you're first together, right? You'll suffer, and then later you're, get off of me, right? So but it doesn't happen that way with cats and dogs for some reason. My animals get the best places for sure, So I was out there, he said, did you spend the night out there? Because I told him I was out on the patio. He goes, did you spend the night out there? And I said, no, but I was out there for a long time. Because Liger was too comfortable and I didn't want to bother him. Didn't want to disturb him. So, what I wanted to talk to you guys about this morning, let me just delete some of this stuff because I've got way too many things on my computer. I had, yesterday was a pretty intense reading, right? And I didn't share the reading that, the beginning of the reading. I'm glad I didn't. I was too aggressive. And I like that because I like that I'm aggressive, but I like that I didn't share it because I got backup, right? I've got a team working with me. They work with me in spirit and they work with me with Soul Family. It's incredible. I was told by Aponia, the horse goddess, I will stop you. The one who rises from the red earth is going to come forward and stop you before making a mistake. And my mistake would have been shooting my mouth off too much. But also my mistake is I've got to stand my ground, right? I've got to be. I have to have a balance. We all have to have a balance, and that's what it was. So the beginning of the reading would have thrown me off balance. Now it was an aggressive. Here's the crow out there yelling at me. We're arguing right now. He's been yelling at me all morning. He's out there. See him in that tree, in the palm tree, and he was in the front yard too, screaming all day yesterday too. Remember? So I want to tell you a couple things. I think it's pretty funny. It is and it's not. It is on a higher level. My twin soul and I, right? We're both powerful people. We're both very strong people. We're both stubborn people. We're both determined. He's a leader. I'm a leader. And I think it's funny because he comes across as very, very gentle. Not always. He's got a hot head, right? And I guess we're mirrors. We're mirrors, right? Because I'm very gentle and very loving and very giving and caring, and yet, don't freaking mess with my family or the people that I love or animals or me. More me. I'll put up with it for me more than I will for others. But what I was saying yesterday about I'm not going to be pushed, right? What's happening in this relationship with us is, and it's not on a even, well, it is. It's on a physical and a spiritual level, but it's a competitive thing. And I'm not going to compete. I'd never wanted to compete. And that's what it is. It's like, some people, like I said, are growing up in households where they're taught to fight. They push you and they needle you and they needle you and they needle you until you fight back. And they like that. They want you to scrap with them because they know how to do that. I don't want to fight. I don't want to fight. And we're not supposed to fight with each other. It's It's not love. It's not grown up. It's not mature. It's not ascension. It's not spiritual, right? I don't want to fight with the person that I love. I don't want to fight with anybody. I don't want enemies, and I don't like scrapping. I like aggressive energy, right? I like feisty energy. I like that. I get riled up. He gets riled up. I told you he's the only person, him and three people I know, Virgos, all of them, able to put me in my place, but in a nice way. I don't want somebody calling me on my shit and expecting me not to be calling them on theirs. So when I first met him, I wasn't in my power. I wasn't fully in my power. My spiritual twin ignited that. I told you that. Ignites the divine masculine within us and makes us strong to mirror back to them, right? But it's not so that we are aggressively fighting against them. It's that we're on an equal level. You meet me on the same playing field, right? The emperor meets the empress. You don't come to me as a knight. You don't come to me as a king. You come to me as an emperor. But I can't come unless I'm at the empress level either. So it's about finding that balance. And with a twin soul relationship, it's push and pull all the time, trying to find that balance. So it's like, he's got this thing where, he wants to control. And he thinks I have this thing that I want to control. I don't. But sometimes, for a woman, like I said, you get me to the place where I'm going to freaking snap, and then, oh, she's crazy. Right? Okay. This morning, I had a very amazing morning. I was connecting with my twin spiritual family, as well as mine. I'm talking like his relatives in spirit. And I've connected with them before. And I don't know what's going on a human level, and it doesn't really matter to me what's going on a human level. I'm going to read you what I wrote because it's easier just for me to read it, okay? I'm going to let you guys look outside while I read this. Okay. What an incredible, inspired morning I've had. I've had communication not only with my twin soul this morning, but with a recently departed family member of his. I was literally woken up because my beloved was calling to my heart chakra. I used to always know when he would get close to where I lived, when my sacral and heart chakras began to spin. It has not stopped since he woke me up. It's still moving very quickly right now. I then had one visit after another from a female energy from his family. She is actually a spirit guide of mine as well as his. This female energy, which of course can be male or female in the physical, right? It's just a feminine energy. It's love, nurturing. Although I do believe it is a female. That's who I've seen. I've communicated with his ancestors for years now. It's interesting to me, the close tie that I have with the Native American culture, Cherokee specifically. I've always known that though my heritage in this life is Welsh and Norwegian, I was lightning before the thunder, which also makes me laugh as I've always seen my twin as Loki, and I guess I'm Thor. I met my first Native American guide shortly after my mother died. She and who I thought was Archangel Michael both appeared to me in my room, just as I was learning Reiki energy healing. It was pretty spectacular. I didn't see him. I only heard his voice. It wasn't a voice that I knew. She didn't speak. He did, but I saw her. So to me, I find it intriguing that the very first experience with spirit guides that came to me was the one male voice accompanied by this silent guide that I could see. Her face was very stern. He was there to calm me. I was very frightened at the time. And as he was there to reassure me that I was safe and let me know he was there with me and that he was always with me and would never leave me, she was there to remind me that I had done what I had done was very foolish. I now know that the voice that spoke to me was not necessarily Archangel Michael. I assumed it was. But perhaps instead of the spirit voice it was a spiritual voice of my spirit twin soul. Since that time, I've experienced several visits from my twin's relatives in this life after this one passed into spirit. What's interesting to me, and you may find of interest, is that I've never physically met any member of my twin's family. I've always felt like the one female energy that I communicated with was his grandmother. She isn't the same ancestor that came to me that first day when I heard the voice of my spiritual twin. This woman looked like my twin. She was seated and she asked me to help her stand. She asked me to dance with her. It makes sense to me, as dancing means moving in harmony. Harmony is my favorite word. It's also the name of a very sacred, special place to me. When I helped her to her feet, I said in my head, "You look just like him." Did I forget to say that she asked me to dance with her? I think I might have, yes. I looked at her and I said, "Oh my God, you look like him." And just as I said that in my head, at the exact same time, she said, "You have his eyes. You look like him." It was an incredible experience. My mother died of cancer. I know that someone in his family also had cancer. I heard in my head, they both have it. Now, I'm going to tell you the God's honest truth. I don't know that someone physically had cancer in his family, although I did watch that. And I did hear parents on the beach in Florida saying, "We're not here for the view, we're here, or for the scenery, we're here to find a cure for cancer." So they may be doctors, I don't know. All I know is there was cancer involved. But a cancer is also something that eats away at you, right? There's symbology involved in this. So my mother did have cancer, which she gave herself by allowing herself to be eaten up by bitterness and anger that she couldn't, and sorrow and remorse and guilt that she would never release. Okay? She created the cancer in her body. We all have it. So I wasn't told who they were that had the cancer. I felt it was his father. I wasn't sure. I was told by Spirit that I have a family member of mine that had recently passed into spirit was going to return to my life in the form of a pet. I didn't find that hard to believe because my mother always said to me, "When I die, I hope I come back as a cat in your house." I always felt she was being sarcastic because I treated my animals like children. Animals were always my best friends, actually my only friends growing up. I keep losing my place, sorry. Their language is the first spiritual gift that I remember being given. As my mother was dying, she was in a coma. I held her hand and I said to her, "If there is life after death, will you please visit me in my dreams and come help me?" 5 years ago, I found an abandoned little female cat. I named her Princess Tiger Lily. I didn't realize at the time why I had done that. There was more than one reason. My mother called herself Princess of quite a lot. It didn't take me very long to notice that this little cat had my mother's personality. She was fiercely independent. She loved beautiful things. She liked the best of everything. Everything. She bossed me around. She was fussy, always had to have a different type of food. She bossed not only myself, but the big male cat too. Bossed him around. She was the queen of the house. I called her princess, but she was the queen, right? Like my mom. She sat up on high on pillows at the top of the bed like she was on a throne. She commanded the house and patio, of which she took over every chase lounge, and loved me very much. Oh, it's raining. It's raining. Oh my gosh. Yay! Oh, let's bring my computer outside. Oh, I love the rain. This is awesome. We can use this purposefully. We can use this to wash away any sadness, worry, fear, doubt, anything. It's cleansing. Oh my gosh. Look at the rain. Oh, I love it. And to have it rain like this, when it's like partially sunny in the sky, that's the coolest thing ever. It's like monsoon season early, right? Okay, so let me find where I was at. Lily. Okay. And my eyes now, it's too bright for me. Sec. My eyes are super sensitive. That's what you get when you have blue eyes, right? Okay, so she's up on the bed, right? She's like queenie. And my heart broke when she passed into spirit, and I still cry when I speak of her. I've been crying all morning, right? That's what happens as you ascend. You cry more and more. You're so sensitive. So I still cry when I can't watch videos of her yet. It's hard for me to look at pictures of her. And when I speak of her. Lily helped me grieve the loss of my mother. I didn't know my mom was dying, and I didn't find out until the night before she died. My one regret was that I wasn't able to baby her and give her everything for those 2 years I didn't know that she was sick. Be careful what you wish for, you just might get it. My mom got cancer and went into remission for 2 years. The exact same thing that happened to Lily. And I was able to do for Lily what I wasn't for my mom. She came to me to help me heal and to let me know that there is life after death, and that our loved ones, both human and animal, never leave us and always love us and help guide us in our physical journey. I have had both Lily and my mom as one and separately come to me more times than I can count. I've also had several visits, as I have said, from my twins family member who recently passed. I don't know who she or he is, in all honesty, as my spiritual twin and human self and I have only communicated in the physical in the last 5.5 years one time. So I haven't been able to ask him who it was that recently passed. As I said, I heard they both have cancer, so it may have been two people. One of his relatives came to us all, actually, the other morning, and I shared the post here. I had been warned by Spirit that I would make a mistake, but I had been reassured by my twin's family member that she would stop me before I did. The words I was given were, Eponia, the horse goddess, the one who was raised from the red earth, will stop you before you take a misstep. My twin spent many years as a child on the Navajo Reservation in Page, Arizona. I knew immediately when I saw those words who it was that would guide me. Now, it's not just her, it's also my spiritual twin. Because as I told you, I'm always with you. I will never leave you. A spiritual twin is always with us. It's your guardian angel. So my guide is my spiritual twin, as well as our family members being our team, right? So he is there too. So the one who was raised on the red earth would have been my twin, right? But also one of his grandparents or an aunt, or I don't know. It's a female, and she loved him a lot. So where am I? I'm not sure how it works. I don't get this. But my twin is Jewish and Cherokee. I've seen a picture of his mother, and she's incredibly beautiful. She's a female version of my twin, but she has brown eyes while his are crystal blue. I am like my mom, but I'm more like my grandma. Both of them raised me. My grandma was an Aries like I am. She was an Aries horse. Well, I am an Aries wood dragon. Now, my mother was a metal dragon. My mom was tough as freaking nails. My mom was a very harder version of me, right? And my grandmother was a horse. So she was, you think about the personality and the spirit animal, the horse, right? You think about a dragon. I'm Puff the magic dragon. I'm the wood dragon. I am the softest of dragons, but I am a dragon. My mother was the metal dragon. She's tough as nails. Hold on, I gotta move a couple things. Siam's little throne is getting wet. Oh, that's interesting. Siam's throne is getting wet. Why is that, babe? Okay. Okay. This is going to be about twin souls. It's going to be about, I don't know, a lot of different messages. It's going to be about life after death, and I'll do a reading too, okay? So you can fast forward if you're not interested in this. It's not just me telling my story. There's reasons for all of this, okay? So, one of the pictures I've seen of my twin's mother was her riding a horse, and she had, I think, his little brother on the horse with her, but I also saw a picture of her riding. I've told you, I think 3 times by Spirit to visit his brother's page. Maybe I didn't tell you that. I don't know his brother. I've never met him. But I've literally been, maybe it wasn't, I don't know who was in Spirit. Maybe it was his mom or his grandma or his aunt. I don't know. But they told me to go to his page. And when I went, each time I was to go, because I was to see pictures. One was the mother with the boys. One was her riding on the horse. And I thought, God, she's so much like me, you know? And one was the boys when they were little. I saw a picture of I saved it. I had to. Picture of my twin when he was like 5 or 6, and the most beautiful child I've ever seen in my entire life, except for my son and grandson. So I was sent there for those reasons, right? So I saw her on that horse, this beautiful, beautiful woman, long dark hair, riding on this horse. And my twin is quite tall, and I think his mother is probably very tall and slim as well. I'm only 5'2.5". So my grandma was an Aries like me. She was the Aries horse. I'm the Aries wood dragon. My twin's mother is riding this horse, right? Well, I gotta turn everyone's gonna start trying to talk to me right now. I was an incredibly horsey girl growing up. Oh my God, I was the horsey girl. I look at this and I laugh, right? I wore cowboy hats, My 6th grade picture, I'm wearing a black cowboy hat and a blue shirt with a horse on the front of it, right? I took horseback riding lessons in the summertime just so I could be around horses. I mucked out their stalls. I did anything just so I could eat, breathe, and sleep horse, right? Everything was about horses. I had countless horse books, models, pictures, anything that I could get my hands on. It was about a horse. I eat, breathed, and slept horse. Until I was 15, I begged my family for a horse, and I almost got one. But I was 15 and a half, and my dad said, do you want a trampoline or do you want a horse? And at that, oh my God, I just got a really loud message, a mirrored message. Do you want a trampoline or do you want a horse? And my brother said, the horse is going to die. And it's bad enough when our animals die, but can you imagine? Your horse is going to die. How are you going to feel burying that horse? And I couldn't handle it. He knew that ruined it for me. He wanted a trampoline, right? I wanted the horse. He wanted the trampoline. So I didn't get the horse. But I almost talked my dad into giving me a saddle, buying me a saddle when we were in Tijuana. Cool saddle. It was a child's saddle. And he was going to buy it. So I could just sit it on the end of my bed. My mom's like, she doesn't need a saddle, right? My mom got in the middle of that, but I almost got it. So my twin is a very strong, powerful energy, but he's also very gentle, loving, and a super sensitive human man. When we were first really talking, when he found me again in Sedona and we realized who we were to each other as far as our spiritual connection, I told him of some of the things that happened in my childhood when I was growing up as an adult, and he said to me, you've been through a lot. You're a very strong woman. I'm impressed. I know in the Jewish culture, strong women are very respected. My daughter married a Jewish man. Being raised one of Jehovah's Witnesses, I had a hard time, as my stepfather tried to raise me to be a very submissive wife. I've told you guys the story of, I cried after coming home from the meeting one day. Meeting is what you guys call church. And he asked me what was wrong, and I was crying, and I said, I'll never make it into the kingdom of the heaven. And he said, what are you talking about? And I said, the brother said today, I get very emotional even now, only the meek and mild are going to inherit the kingdom. And I said, I will never be meek and mild. And he laughed, and he said, Sherry, who did Jesus give the keys to the kingdom? He gave it to his favorite disciple, right? His favorite disciple, Peter. And what did Peter do? He lost his cool. He lost his shit, and he cut off the ear of the soldier who was trying to take his friend. And I've seen my twin do that, right? My twin was always getting into scraps, defending his friend. I saw him do that for his friend Sid. He had a fat lip, and I said, what happened? And Sid said, he got into a fight, and he goes, he's always getting into fights, just trying to save everybody, and I got to jump in and save the day. And I'm thinking, somehow I don't think that's the case, right? Because I do the same, right? I've got that Chihuahua, Napoleon kind of personality where I don't see size. I grew up with, everyone in my family was 6'4", 6'5", 6'3", right? My uncle, my brothers, my ex-husband. I mean, I'm used to tall. So I might stand here, and my best friend was 5'10". My best friend that I grew up with, my little sister, was 5'10". So I don't see height, right? Because I also know, I've seen my spiritual self, and she's 25 feet tall. So clearly when I come into my power, which is the same situation as when you hear of those stories of a child who gets trapped under a vehicle or whatever, and all of a sudden the mother is able to freaking lift the car, right? My brother folded a mattress over on me once, thought it was funny, pinned me down. My brother's 350 pounds, like a bear. And I freaking kicked him off me, and he went flying across the room because my higher self came out, right? My higher self is huge. That's why my energy is so intense. That's why I'm intimidating to a lot of men. I don't like that. I don't mean to be that. It's just my energy is very large, right? Well, my twin has that energy too, even though he's soft and gentle, right? And everything I said yesterday, I stand by, right? This is completely separate. You'll understand why in a minute. So my dad tells me that story, right? And I'm thinking, all right, it kind of calmed me down. But my dad was an elder in the Christian congregation, right? And he was constantly trying to beat submissiveness into me, because that's how you're raised as a Jehovah's Witness. Wives are to be in subjection with their husbands. I told you I was in an abusive relationship for 10 years. He was a Jehovah's Witness, and we went to counseling right before it ended. And I know, well, because it was very clear. We went and we got a couples counselor, man and woman, right? And he was expecting the man to tell me that I was out of line. So he would tell his story to the female, I would tell my story to the male, and then they would cross back and forth. And so when that was done, he finished his story and he looks at the guy and he says, so what's the problem then? I don't understand what the problem is. He was always very threatened by me working or making any more money because he wanted to be the breadwinner. I want to be the one to take care of this family. My wife's not going to work. I didn't have a bank account. I didn't have this. I didn't have that. It was like control, right? So no one will ever control me again. That's what needs to be understood. No one will ever control me again. I don't have to go the opposite way and control anyone else because I don't want to. And I did battle that for a really long time. My ex-husband will tell you that, right? But it's because of having been abused. It's because of having been beaten up. It's because of people holding me down. I only had boy cousins, right? And you have to fight. I had to fight my way through life. I was a cesarean baby. It's a fact, a scientific fact. If a child is lifted out of the womb, they don't come into the world fighting. They feel the need to fight. Not to mention, I'm a freaking Aries, okay? I'm in a Pisces moon, but I got Gemini rising, and I'm an Aries, right? And I'm a spiritual twin. So I am a freaking large being, right? So I had to learn how to balance. I still have to balance. You heard me yesterday. You can get me fired up, but I gotta be stopped, right? And that's what was so cool about my twin, is that he knows how to put the brakes on me. Remember the brakes that I wasn't able to put on? He knows how to put the brakes on me, but in a loving way. That was the biggest turn on to me. I can't tell you. He said something to me. I got upset about something. We were crossing over. We're always crossing over, right? He's saying something, I'm saying something, and we're emailing. So mine was going and his was going, and so he got annoyed with me, and I got annoyed with him back. And like he said to me, I'm trying to express myself here to you. I'm trying to express my feelings to you, and you're asking me where I live. And I'm like, excuse me, I didn't see that email. I didn't get there yet. So we were constantly doing that, right? Da, 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 da. And he said to me, I said something, and he put me in my place sharp, and it caught me in my throat, right? I instantly had tears prick into my eyes because he got up. It just did. It instantly just stopped me, and tears came into my eyes, right? There's my Pisces, and this is my twin, right? I loved him, and I stopped, and then I thought, God, I like that. So I wrote back, and I said, I'm sorry. And then I said, I like that smile. And he writes back, why? Laugh out loud because I put you in your place? And I said, no, because you did it without being an asshole. You did it nicely, right? It's kind of like my friend Blaine. He's a Virgo too. And I started getting upset. He called me on something, and I said, what are you talking about? And I misunderstood what he said. Because a lot of things are misunderstood in written form, right? You don't hear the tone of voice. And I answered him back. I got fired up. And he goes, simmer down. Simmer down. That's not what I meant. And I go, oh. And I should have known that, of course, because Blaine loves me and I love him too. He's my friend. We respect one another, right? So it was kind of that arrangement between my twin and I. And I thought, wow, I think I found my match, because I have never in my life met a man that could handle me. And I don't mean that could not deal with me. My ex-husband could handle me. He manhandled me. He threw me against the wall. He threw me on the ground. He could handle me. I fought back. I was covered in bruises, but he handled me. But my twin handled me in a loving way and got me to calm down without me feeling the need to retaliate. I didn't feel the need to defend myself, to fight back. I don't want to fight with you. So this is why I'm saying, some people grow up in a house where they only know fighting, right? They don't understand unconditional love. And so they push you and they needle you until you fight with them. That's what they understand. Then they can show their dominance, but they feel also like they're a man, right? I don't want that. I don't want that. I don't want to fight with you. I don't want to control you. I don't want to dominate you, but I don't want that. I've had that life. I don't want that life. It's painful and lonely and demoralizing, and I won't ever be treated that way again. And I need to be careful to not do that as well. And so the Epona horsewoman that was going to come forward, I thought to myself, is it his grandma? Is it his mom? I don't know who it is. It's someone like me, right? Because I can only imagine that if he respected a strong, independent woman, that he must have been raised by that as well. So I had this hard time, you know, being raised to be a submissive wife, right? And I told you, when we were at that the one and only counseling session, they said, what's wrong? Then I don't understand what's wrong, you know, I don't see a problem here. And he said, she's not in subjection to me. And so then the man, he described whatever, and the man said, what you consider subjection, I would term domination. And I was like, wow, I didn't expect that. I didn't know. I thought, okay, this is not going to go well when we get in the car, right? It's not going to go well. It didn't. We were divorcing a week later, right? So, and it's the truth, because, you know, what subjection is, I will bow to you, right? The divine in me bows to the divine within you. Absolutely. I honor you. I respect you. My friend Tony put me in my place the other day. I like that. I told him I like that. I go, you know what? You're right. I apologize. I came across too aggressive. I mean what I said, but I could have probably chosen different words. And I said, but in all reality, to be fair, I said, I think it's because it was in the written form, because that's not how I didn't mean it the way you're taking it. But I did. I was very forceful, right? Now, yesterday, I was extremely forceful, right? And I said, I cut cords with everyone, especially my twin soul. But the reason you cut cords, especially with the ones that you love, is because they're cords of dysfunction, right? Cords of love are never cut. If there's a problem, if there's a misunderstanding, if there's an issue, you want those cords cut. Now, energetically, no one's allowed to take my energy. My twin knows that better than anyone. He said that to me. I went to hug him. I gave him a hug, right? He gave me a hug when he first saw me. He hugged me several times that day. And then when he went to leave, I asked for another hug, and he said, I already hugged you. I said, what, are we counting out how many hugs a day we get? Can I have another? And he goes, I don't know. Are you going to take my energy, or are you going to give me your energy? And I said, I just want a hug. Because I didn't understand at that time what that meant. So I hugged him. And as I was hugging him, I was just saying, because I'd never told him I loved him. I mean, we had just kind of gotten together, right? I'd never said the feelings that I had always had. And he hadn't expressed those feelings either. And so as he's holding me, I'm saying, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, right? All the things that I couldn't say. And he held me for a long time. And then he stepped back and he said, very nice, well done. He said, you didn't take my energy? No, he says, you remained neutral. And I thought, because I don't need to take his energy. I have my own. I don't need to take mine, and I don't want to put mine onto him. That's very important in a relationship, right? It's got to be a partnership. It's got to be an equal give and take. But the twin souls are having issues right now because there's a struggle. And why is there a struggle? Because of stuff that happened in their, maybe their, I don't know, you know, their own lives, whatever. Because there wasn't between us before, right? So I had this struggle my whole life with my dad. My dad beat me up when I was 17 and a half. He literally beat me black and blue. I should have been in the hospital. That's why he bought me the car. P.S. You know, I told you he gave me a car. That's why. He's carried that in his mind for years. It was really bad. And it's because he wanted to break me. I'm like a horse that you're trying to break. You will never break a wild Mustang. Ever. Ever. You may put a saddle on them. You may put a bridle on them. But you will never break my spirit. Right? Ever. I've had my spirit broken partially. But not fully. And I never will. And I will make sure, since I've been through what I've been. Right? And I raised my daughter to be very strong. And my son is very strong too. So let me go back to the horses. I'm laughing at this because it's so connected to my twin. I just laugh at this whole thing, right? So in the Jewish culture, strong women, I told you, are very, I know that they are. I know strong women are respected. We've all heard Jewish mothers, right? Jewish mothers are controlling of their sons. That, I think, is a problem for us. And I don't want to tell her what to do, but she's not going to tell me what to do either. There will be an issue, right? I respect you, you respect me. Let's agree to disagree. I like that. When I rhyme, that is spirit talking. I've told you guys that before. I respect you, you respect me. Let's agree to disagree. Okay? Mom, dad, anyone. So I got cat hair everywhere. I'm such a cat. I've constantly got it somewhere. So, like I said, I've struggled with this, especially in this being in the Christian congregation where the women had to wear a head covering. They weren't allowed to stand on the platform and give it, it was different. The men were on a different level than the women, which I don't buy. I don't get, that's not the way God made us. I'm sorry. I don't get that. We're supposed to be partners. So, the reason, and another reason why I was probably more like a wild pony my whole life until I've had it beaten out of me, right? And I don't mean by men. Life has beaten, has taught me. I told you yesterday, I know who I have tamed. She can be, I can have a viper tongue. I told you, my mother could slice you down. You couldn't get a word out. You were ripped to shreds. I was like that. When I went with the one that was abusive to me, I was like that to him. He had a hard time speaking, like literally. He had a hard time getting things out. When he would get frustrated, he couldn't even speak. He would just, words wouldn't even come out. It was like gibberish. And I would just be, and he was done. Just done, right? So I can do that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be that person. Other people that have known me a long time will know you. They know that person, right? So I have worked on myself as on my spiritual path. I've been getting my corners knocked off, right? In order for me to be able to come together with my twin soul. If we ever were to come together, we would both have to get our corners knocked off because it would never work, right? Because we clearly twin souls are mirrors. And that's why it's a push-pull, because it's two energies. And he's thinking, this is a female, I am the male, rah, and I'm like, I am tiger. You will hear me roar louder than a lion, right? And my cat, Princess Tiger Lily, his mom, same thing. So we struggle with this, especially in this society, right? It's not a light thing. And for some reason, I've always been drawn to very gentle, easygoing guys. I like that energy. I like it because it balances my energy. When I am in his physical presence, he calms me just instantly. And we get really spicy too, but he can calm me. And I think I boil his water a little bit, right? We just have to make sure we don't do it too much. I never found a man strong enough to handle me until him. And yet now I feel for some reason we've got this power struggle between us, and it doesn't make sense because it didn't feel that way when we were together. So maybe I'm wrong, right? Maybe other things going on. But since we parted 5.5 years ago, I've been very much on my spiritual path, and I've come into my personal power, right? So I'm not the same person that I was. I'm definitely not the same person he knew for the 20 years previous to that. Though he said he liked that I was a strong woman when he found me in Sedona, it might now be difficult for him to feel, see, and hear me standing in my full Empress power, right? It might feel like, and I don't mean threatening to him as in he can't handle me, but like, I don't want to deal with this shit, right? My twin is very handsome, very capable, very strong, and no doubt has women throwing themselves at him 24/7. I don't care. I'm not in competition with anyone, right? I don't care. I got a lot of men coming at me too. It doesn't make any difference because they're not him, right? So, and yet he's been able to get away with stuff. He was able to get away with a lot with me, right? A lot. Because I hadn't learned this yet. I hadn't come into my power fully. He awakened that in me. He can thank himself. Once he doesn't like it, he can thank himself. So now what stands before him is his divine counterpart, right? Not the person he used to know. And so I'm sure he has grown as well. I mean, he was strong then, right? I saw it in him then. So even though he's this gentle, loving man, he's an alpha wolf, right? I am also the alpha. I'm an alpha female. A combination of my twins' family ancestry and my mother and Lily came to me this morning, twice, with very loud messages. One in the form of the Jewish goddess Lilith. How funny. Goddess Lilith, which is Lily. Think about Lily, my kitty, Princess Tiger Lily. You think about Peter Pan. Tiger Lily was the Indian chief's daughter, right? Think about all of these things. I named her Princess Tiger Lily. I didn't know all of these connections. It was my higher self, clearly. So Lilith, get who Lilith was. I'm going to give you her message because this is just crazy. Lilith was a Jewish goddess named Lilith, right? And her message is, well, she was refused. She refused to be dominated by the first man, and so they called her a demon. They didn't like her, right? But she was the one who was there to teach how to develop healthy love relationships. She spoke to me this morning, right? This is where Lily stepped in. As I had to go through this recently with Lily, I was able to comfort a woman with an experience that Lily and I went through together. This morning, I got an email from a soul family member who has to put her loving dog to sleep. Today, she's taking her for her last walk, and she's feeling like she's let her down. And she wants to know she's doing the right thing. She says she's got cancer, she's in pain. Now, this is going to help people who have family members like this, okay? She's in pain, and she says she keeps looking to her like, help me. And I'm going to get upset because Lily did that too. So I'm going to read to you what I said to this woman. That should help you if you have had a loss of a pet recently or of a family member. I've had both. You guys remember Lil, my little princess? So she's sending me pictures today. Oh, God. So she says, I have to send my beautiful baby girl over the Rainbow Bridge today. Okay, I'm going to get very upset because nothing upsets me more than animal situations. I said, oh, my heart is with you. I know how deeply this hurts. But let me tell you how often your baby will show up again in your life to know she's never left you. My Princess Tiger Lily comes to me often to remind me to be strong. She was fiercely independent and courageous. She suffered greatly, but was a valiant warrior. Look at the message that came to me today through her. Now, my mother suffered greatly. She had pancreatic cancer. I had no idea. Her entire body was riddled with it. She took no Western medicine. She only used Reiki energy healing until the night before she died. And she took morphine, and the doctor at the hospice said, this is the strongest woman I've ever met. The pain, I will tell you, the pain that she has, it's unmeasurable. So Lilith's message is one of independence. My Princess Tiger Lily, independent. Who in my twins' family does she represent? I know who she represents in my family, my mom and me, right? So Lilith, the Jewish goddess Lilith refused to be dominated by the first man, and as a result was called a demon in the stories about her that followed. Everyone told the stories, right? So I think that I did that. Somebody came to me and I said, and they told me to stop writing it to my twins' email address and his work. It was his company, his work, his email address. And I said, and I first said sorry, and then I said, wait a minute. I got off and I thought about it, and I said, wait a minute, who is that? And I wrote back and I said, I don't know who this is, but this is my friend. We've been friends for 20 years, and we were more than friends, right? And I said, this is his private business, his private email, and I don't know wwho you are, but if he has something to say to me, he can say it himself. And this person got really angry and told me off. Well, clearly I'm seeing now that it was a man, right? Was called a demon in the stories that followed about her. These inaccurate and damaging stories are so old and repeated so often that no one recognizes how pervasive their implications are. From another perspective, Lilith offers this lesson. No one can prevent you from fully blooming, from learning all you can, from evolving and choosing freedom. Only your conditioned thinking can do that. Be proud, be accountable, claim your destiny, claim your power and hold it wisely. Right now, you're in an excellent position to attract healthy, interdependent, collaborative relationships that truly serve the highest good. Interdependency within a love relationship is imperative. You must have freedom within a relationship. Interdependence. You have to be, that's why I said, two strong, independent people are the ones that will come together. That's why I have to be a truly independent of my twin. I can't be relying on anyone. I don't rely on anyone. I take care of myself. He stands on his own, right? Two interdependent people come together. So I'm in a position, of course, to attract this into my life because this is where I stand. Business ventures thrive in service to the greater good because that makes sense. My work is about spirit, right? My work is going to thrive because I'm helping spirit. Of course they're going to make it thrive, right? The goddess Lilith wants to show you the way to claim a healthy self-worth and self-respect by refusing to let your old stories keep you down. Well, those old stories said that I was a witch, right? Maybe they didn't say I was a witch as in practicing witchcraft. Maybe they just said I was a fucking witch, bitch, right? That's what they thought of me because I told that guy where to go. I didn't know who he was. If I had realized I was speaking to his father, I wouldn't have spoken that way, right? I didn't know. All I knew was this person was coming at me from a private email that I wrote to my twin soul. And I didn't have any idea who he was. I would not have been disrespectful. And I wasn't in the first email. It was the second one. So you'll be amazed at how deep, meaningful, and respectful your experience becomes in all areas of your life when you make choices from a place of empowered independence. So that was the message from Lily, from my twins' family who came forward this morning, right? And I said, I believe this is also a message for you today from Lily, my Lily, letting you know to be strong and that she will welcome your baby as she crosses the Rainbow Bridge. And I said, I find the timing of it all very loud message. Trust that she will be as loyal in spirit as she has been in the flesh. I tried to hold on to Lily. I force-fed her and I gave her fluids when she stopped eating and drinking. Now, remember I told you my body has a hard time letting babies go? I was doing that to my twin. I didn't know I was doing that to my twin. Listen to what I said, what I did to my Lily. I force-fed her. And I gave her fluids when she stopped eating and drinking. When he stopped communicating with me, I force-fed him. I kept writing to him. I kept expressing myself to him. I didn't know what he was feeling. He told me that he was going through something very difficult, and then he disappeared. I didn't know. I was writing and doing that because I told him I would never abandon him. I wanted him to know that no matter what he was going through, I would never let him get down. I would always be there. That's my intention. My intention wasn't to overwhelm him, okay? But no doubt it did, right? Clearly, I'm here seeing. But get this about Lily. She was so thirsty. I watched her. She would go to the water and she would try and drink, and she couldn't drink. It was like she had dementia. She couldn't do it. She was so thirsty. And now that I know that, I also saw a beautiful woman lying in a bed. A quilted bed, and it was in my twin's family, and she looked to me to be in a coma, and it was hurting me because I realized she's so thirsty. But I'm also seeing symbolic messages, right? It could have been an image of my beautiful twin, his beautiful loving energy, not well, thirsty, needing emotional connection. That's why I constantly send him Reiki healing. That's why when I was told by his brother in my dreams, he's not coming back, he'll never come back, when he looked like he was in a coma, I said, you're wrong. I kept sending him unconditional love and healing, Reiki healing. He asked me to send him Reiki. That was something that we would do. So with my little Lily, I finally realized, as she stroked out in my arms, that I had actually been hurting her. I would have been showing her such love if I had been brave enough to help her slip into spirit with peace and ease. She was wanting to go. She was so tired of fighting, but I was selfish. I didn't want to lose her. I'm bawling as I write these words. I loved her so much. I didn't understand what a blessing it was that we can help them stop suffering when they need us to. Let them go. But she was so loyal. She let me do what I did. She didn't fight me. I'm sorry. I didn't understand that if I could have released her and let her know it was okay to go, I wouldn't have been letting her down, but showing just how much I loved her. I got a message this morning, I think, from my twin. I've been hoping that someone would find you, that someone would love you the way I couldn't. I was hoping that you would hurt me more than I hurt you, so that you would just let me go. Stop loving me, let me go. So I wrote I honor this, right? I respect this. The woman said to me, I'm sorry for your loss. I'm just taking her out for our last walk together. She's on pain medication. She has liver cancer. She keeps looking at me for help. I think she knows. As we walked away, a hawk flew over us, and as we were leaving my house, a red cardinal showed up and hung out for 10 minutes. That is her aunt, Lucky, showing me she's going to be there to get her. I know I'm doing the right thing, it just hurts so bad. She's gone. May she rest in peace. I didn't see that. But I had written back, I'm the Red Hawk. It means look at the things from a higher perspective. Also, a message is coming. The red cardinal means a loved one in spirit is with you.
You're doing the right thing. I'm crying with you. Now, remember I told you I heard we're not here for the scenery. We're here to find a cure for cancer. And I saw the person in my life, my twin's life, with cancer. But I heard they both have it. You'll understand. My twin said, somebody said, just let her go. Leave her alone. You'll only hurt her. Besides, she's in love with Troy. Because he did think I cared about someone else when I loved him. I felt that that meant my twin had cancer and that he thought he was going to die. And it would be easier to let me go and push me away so I wasn't hurt. I'm getting confirmation. I don't have verification of this, but I believe this. I've always believed this. But I can also tell you that Spirit told me death shall not take him, even though they think that there's no hope. That's what Spirit told me. Now, the thing is, death shall never separate twin souls. We're always together. What I was writing to you earlier today. My mother died of cancer. I know that someone in his family also had cancer. I heard in my head they both have it. I wasn't sure who it was. I was told by Spirit that the family member of mine was going to return to me as Lily, right? So this is the little one that came, and it's bringing us all these messages. I got the message from the Epona, the horse goddess, which is somebody from his family. And then we got Lily coming through. Then we got Lilith, the Jewish goddess. And I told how I was allowed to work through my grief from my mother with my cat. There's might be someone in my twin's life that he has been working through this issue in order to maybe release somebody in his family. I don't know. As I said, I don't have verification on a lot of things. After I got the message from the woman on my personal page, actually I think it was right before that, there was an email in my LinkedIn from one of my business connections there, a Ralph King. I love your eyes. You have wolf eyes, wolf spirit. I said, interesting that you see that. Thank you for seeing that. I have felt very close to my twin this morning. My spiritual twin and I are both the silver wolf, and we have the same blue eyes, though I feel his eyes are much more beautiful. His are crystal blue. That's one thing that never changes through our many lives. True twin souls have been together through many lifetimes, and though we may change in the physical form, taking turns as male and female, the eyes will always remain the same. A true alpha male and female wolf pack. Blessings to you. This post today is to honor my mom, my grandma, my twin's grandmother and mother, as well as my Native American guide, who is clearly a relative of both my twin and I. I have seen and experienced my past lives as a Native American medicine woman as well as a warrior. This post is also to honor my spiritual twin in the spiritual form, as well as the human man I used to know and love. I'm not in his life right now. I don't have that right? I do love him. I will always love my spiritual twin. He's not in my physical life right now. So in honor, I respect that. My dad clearly struggled with my mom being so independent and strong, and yet he admired her greatly. I think it's a struggle that all men may have. My mom and dad didn't have a proper balance. There was definitely a power struggle. They didn't know how to communicate with one another. My mother didn't know how to express her feelings. My mother is more like my twin. My mother, when she gets upset, she could be very cutting. And I've done that, right? My father wasn't so much. He was quiet, but he was more controlling, right? My mother wouldn't be controlled. She wouldn't let him see her cry. She wouldn't let him see her break. That's why it's very important that you see me cry. It's very important that everyone understands. We all have feelings, right? Even men that won't cry, they have feelings inside. So We will always struggle with the imperfections of this physical world, but when there is love, dedication, and commitment, anything can be overcome. I don't want that struggle with my twin and I. I don't wish to compete with him. I have no desire to control him. And yet, just like Lily, my grandma, my mom, and I'm sure his grandma and mom, I will never allow anyone to control me. I will be respected, which does not mean I do not and will not continue to have also the same respect, complete respect for my spiritual twin. It simply means that I meet him on his level, as a loyal, loving, and dedicated partner, my teammate, my wolfmate, my sacred and beloved twin. I hold this space for him no matter where he is in this physical world, because no matter where our individual paths may lead us, he is no one other than my spiritual twin. And anyone in a twin soul relationship will understand that even while we are physically parted doing our own work, the love between us is unconditional. And the picture that I shared was the wolf. This is my spirit wolf. So I heard in my head, just because you're in a twin soul relationship doesn't mean you don't have to respect another's relationship. And I didn't understand that because I didn't know my twin was married. I didn't know that. He never said anything to me. I think he lied when he told me. I don't think he really is. Maybe he is. That's why I said yesterday, it's not clear enough for me, right? I don't know what's a lie and what's the truth. And until I have it clear in front of me, my boundaries are very firm, right? I have to respect others' boundaries as well. But my boundaries will be respected. And I have had absolute disrespect the entire time he's been gone from people on his camp. I don't know who they are. I'm showing a cousin. I'm showing friends. I don't know. I'm not going to name the specifics because I've gotten so many different messages, right? And I don't want to be wrong. I don't want to accuse somebody of something that isn't true. All I know is I don't want no scrub leaning out the side of his best friend's ride trying to holler at me. And I keep getting cousin, and I don't know what it means. Kissing cousin is what I'm hearing. So, I did see in a dream that I heard, well, I guess I'm going to marry her. And I said, why would you marry her? You don't love her. And he said, because we've known each other forever. My family expects it. I know it's going to be a complete disaster, and I was gone, right? And so maybe he did marry his kissing cousin. I don't know. But a kissing cousin isn't a real cousin, right? I had an aunt, and Becky was my cousin, and they weren't relatives of ours. It was my mom's best friend. And it would be like my brother marrying Becky, right? They could get married. They weren't related. So anyway, I'm putting this out because I'm doing this for my twin because, and for everyone else, so that there's no misunderstanding, right? I honor my spiritual twin, but the physical man won't come to me with disrespect. He'll come to me and meet me on the same level. Just like my friend Tony said to me, no one will speak to me with disrespect, not even you. And I said, I agree, you're right, I apologize. And instantly we were fine, right? Because it doesn't take much, right? I agree, I understand. So if there's a problem that you have with somebody, say it. Say what it is, because maybe they don't know. And if they did, they would say they were sorry. I've asked for forgiveness from my twin's entire family. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I don't know what unintentionally I may have done to hurt someone. I don't know. But intentionally, I wouldn't hurt anyone. If I felt that you were hurting him, I may have lashed out. I have lashed out because that's what I saw. And I've explained it a million times that these dreams I see things very clearly. I'm literally in the room with you guys. You don't realize. It's hard. It's hard. Because when somebody attacks somebody that I love, I go to the mat. I'm a ride or die, right? I am loyal to the death. And I told my twin, I'll always be your friend. I took an oath and I stick by it. I told his brother that, and I mean it. It's raining. Now that it's raining, come under my umbrella. I'm always here. My energy is always here. I am in the physical, but my energy is always with my spiritual twin. So, we've been on the phone for an hour, us. So, I wonder if I should just wrap this up now. I should continue to do a reading. I think it's awfully long to do a reading at this point. Let me ask Spirit what they want us to do. Abso-frickin-lutely. So is it abso-frickin-lutely? That's my words. I said it. So let me just see. Are we supposed to do a reading now? You can let me know. Anyway, that was an incredibly inspired morning for myself, and I hope for that woman, and it's pretty amazing. April 29th. Unbelievable. The universe is saying to you today, your turnaround is going to happen quickly. You're about to see the change you've been waiting for. The time has come because I got your back, says Spirit. And 3 doves just went by, so I like that. Ascended Masters. So yes or no? Do we wrap this up right now, or do we do a reading? I heard do the reading. So this will be a long reading. I'm going to probably have to plug us in. So let me grab some cards. I don't need this computer here. Song playing right now, Don't You Give Up. Don't you give up, let me love you. So the decks that we're going to use today, I hope this works. I got this super long cord just so I could do readings like this. I don't know how much energy is in my phone. Okay. Woo! It's soaking wet out here. So the items that we're going to use today for our items to choose from, let's use the running couple, right? Let's use the twin souls. That's the boy, that's the girl. Male, female. We'll use the prince, the frog prince, and we'll use the lion, because I came in with the lion people. I'm half lion, half tiger. That's why I have a liger. In all reality, my cat's named Liger. I did come in with the lion people. If you look that up, if you don't know anything about that, look it up. That's why I'm the cat. I'm all versions of the cat because I came in with the lion people. My twin's a cat too. If you ever saw him, he's got he's Cherokee, but he's got very high cheekbones, the Cherokee cheekbones, but it's not just that. His eyes tilt up like my cat Siam. That's why that's his spirit cat. He's got eyes like that. It's incredible. Definitely a cat. Yes, we're the wolf, but, you know, we're all kinds of different animals. We're shapeshifters. Correct for neutrality on all levels. For those who chose the man, and I did, correct for neutrality on all levels. The decks we're working with, Wisdom of the Golden Path again. Interesting. I didn't realize I picked that one out. And we already got a message. Jade Mountain. Okay, they just told me grab it. Jade Mountain. So, you see this one. What color is she surrounded by? I find this really intriguing. It's waterfalls. Spirit said to me, when the great wave comes, go to the mountain with the tablets. Tablets are waterfalls. See the waterfalls pouring down? Water is that tablet. That mountain is spirit. The water is spirit's expression, right? The words. She has her back to the mountain. She's leaning in to the waterfall, which makes me think of a song that I always think of when it comes to my own twin soul. It's called Geronimo. Remember how that one didn't want to jump off the cliff? He wasn't going to do it, kept looking. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Hell no, I'm not doing that. And the song says, I found my best friend at the curtain of the waterfall. Geronimo. And there she is, standing at the waterfall. And the colors are green and yellow. Yellow is the divine masculine. Green, love and healing. And Jade Mountain says something very magical happens very soon, which leaves you celebrating. Yay! I'm ready. You're going to be able to look back and realize how much you've accomplished with what you've gone through and what you've experienced. Spirit says be grateful for all of it. The pain, because it brought the lessons, right? Which brought the growth, which got you ready. That was confirmation all the way through. Cheeky little bugger. Because everything that we've been through what we've experienced has helped us grow to become who we are, right? Everything that we are going through is preparing us for what we have asked for. Now, I will tell you, this is a trick because I know that my twin is my spiritual twin. I believed it for a very long time, but then I would doubt, as we were going through all of this stuff.
until I asked the Father, and he gave me the specifics, and he showed up with the crystals in his hands. No doubt that that was him, even though I believed that already. But I would doubt it, right? Back and forth, because I thought, why is this going on, right? And my guides told me that we don't want this for you. We want you to let him go, right? It's not in your highest good. You need to let him go. And I said no. And they said, and I know it was probably my mom. And my mom told me, no, it wasn't my mom, because my mom told me, I asked my mom to help me, and she promised me that she would bring him home. But maybe that meant home to spirit. What do I know, right? Maybe that's what, because all twin souls don't stay together. We were supposed to. I was told we were supposed to, because we were not only twin souls, but karmic soulmates. So there are karmic soulmates, which are lessons, right? He had karmic soulmates, so did I. But we are also karmic soulmates, which made it difficult for us. But we are also twin souls. So those are the ones that generally stay together or come together. But it's general, right? We don't know. I mean, it's choice. We all have free will. So the difference is we really don't, because we made our choice before we came here. We made our choice. We made a vow. So that's why I argued with my guides. They told me to let it go. And they said, this is going to be the hardest thing you've ever had to do. And I said, I made my choice. And I told him I won't leave him, because they came to me and told me that after he disappeared, right? They knew how long he was going to be gone. I was told, your fiance goes away for 4 years. Well, he went away for 5.5 years. And he's still gone now. I only saw him once, right? 6 months ago, 5 months ago. So they knew how long it would be. I didn't believe that. I didn't believe that when they said that. So I said I made my choice. So, and I kept getting hassles and blocks and hassles and blocks. And finally I went to Archangel Michael and I said, look, you know what? Instead of fighting me, instead of blocking me, why don't you help me? Why don't you help me do this? And so they said, when I was crying about this, that, or the other, they said, everything you're going through is helping prepare you for what you've asked for. You asked for him. I said, okay. So this is what you've gone through. Whatever you've gone through, it's because you've asked for something. And they're telling you that you deserve to have what your heart desires and wants. Your heart knows what it wants, and you deserve that. You deserve to see that fulfilled, right? You need to listen to your heart. You need to follow your heart. Your heart is wise. Your brain only knows what happened last week, right? You need to listen to your heart. The Bible says the heart is treacherous. I disagree. The heart is your soul. I disagree with that. That's why I'm not a Bible thumper. You will know when you are on the right path. You will intuitively know when you are following your soul's path. Now, it's not just my heart. I follow my soul's path. And remember, I told you, my twin said to me, when I told him he wasn't my twin, that I thought Troy was, he said to me, go on, go out there. Go do your work. Go ahead. You're not ready. And when you find him, don't push away what your soul's longing for. That's why I always say that. Okay, babe, don't push away what your soul is longing for. How about put your money where your mouth is, right? So right now, Spirit is telling you, you'll know when you're on the right path. It'll feel right. Your gut will feel right. It won't feel right if you're not, right? So close your eyes and get into this moment. And Spirit says, no matter what's going on, you have to stay in this moment of joy. I spoke to a woman this morning, one of my clients, and she's in a situation similar. And I said, you know what? She wants to constantly know what's going on with that guy's girlfriend. And I said, I can show you what we're getting. And I said, but you're torturing yourself. Don't go there. Don't ask about that. Just know that you have this connection, and that when it's meant to happen, it's going to happen, and move forward in your life. Do you. And it's hard to do, because my twin told me that in my dream 4 years ago. I didn't understand what he was saying. I saw him sitting there, and he said he was in a twin soul relationship, and I said, I am too. Where's your twin? Is that your twin? No. Well, why are you not with her? It's not time yet. And it sucks about him and I is that he's very logical, right? I'm very emotional. He's very logical. And so in his mind, he's like, okay, well, it'll happen when it'll happen. When the time is right, it'll happen. Not a second before, and don't worry about it. And I'm just like, okay, it's easy for you to say. I'm not you. So right now, Spirit says, we understand that. It's not easy. So right now they're saying there's going to be something wonderful coming, but it's not here yet, right? And so it's difficult. And sometimes we can't see the forest for the trees. That's what I said yesterday. Can't see the forest for the trees. What was the message we got? Harmony, fulfillment, right? Happiness. But you couldn't see it. I couldn't see it. There was the tree with the There's the mockingjay right up on top of the roof. Hello, you little stinker. Defending what is theirs, right? Speaking their truth and defending what is theirs. It's been flying around me this whole time. I just had to get you to see it. So you may not be seeing it right now, and you may be telling me, yeah, a likely story, right? But there's love forever within you and all around you. And Spirit is saying, we want you to say this affirmation. I celebrate life. I appreciate every moment. I am grateful for this sacred life and for each breath that I hold. The eternal flame of love glows forever within me. So something magical is soon to happen. Hold on to that. Don't hold on to any of the negative. God, you're so beautiful. The wings, when you see them, when they fly, they've got the white circles on their wings. Ah. Okay, so now we're going to go to the Faery Oracle. Faery Oracle. This is a reverse deck, so it could be a contrary message. I don't like to call it contrary message. It could be a lesson, right? Something that you need to work on. Or it can be a blessing message saying what's coming. I don't know, however you call it upright. I think they're all positive because if it's not happening, maybe, some of them say this is happening, some of them say this isn't happening. So you may not like it, but it's always in the positive. So for those who chose the woman, correct for neutrality. As soon as I said that, a dove flies by. For those who chose the woman, the running woman holding the daisy flower in front of her, correct for neutrality. And I think that's funny because that's kind of what happened, right? It's always been the runner, and I was always the chaser, and then it stopped. And now I've gone the other way, and it kind of flips that way. Now the chaser becomes the runner, because I'm certainly not chasing anyone, right? Correct for neutrality on all levels for those who chose the female. And it is in the upright, and I can't tell you about this message. Oh my God. The unicorn and the maiden. These two are secret partners. They are partners. They are energetic partners. They are soulmates. They are literally twin souls. But if you're not a twin soul, this is a representation of that. This could be your guardian angel with you, right? These two, look at her. Someone has hurt her beautiful horse. I heard this morning coming at you like a black horse, a dark horse, right? And I laughed. And I said yesterday, they said, there's a post I have on my page, something about the horse. And I said, bring me that black horse, right? Here's the horse. This is a white horse. Sometimes the black sheep in the family is the only one who's able to see the bullshit going on. And they call him the black sheep of the family, but they're actually not, right? So he may have looked like a black horse, but he's pure. So here we go. This is what we've got. This one has been hurt. And she wants to kick their ass. Look at her. She's got the fire coming out in her, right? She's like, I don't think so. I don't think so. And he is leaning into her. Now, look at it in reverse. She's been hurt because she has been hurt. And you've got to understand that even when somebody hurts someone you love, it hurts you. But she has also been attacked and hurt, right? And he doesn't like it. He comes with love, roses. He leans into her and he says, just like my spiritual twin said to me, I'm always with you. I'll never leave you. This is Spirit saying to you, we are always with you. We will never leave you, right? We will never leave you. Even if you feel like you're alone, you are never alone. This is communication with unicorn, purification, undercover action. Didn't I say they're undercover? Undercover lovers, right? Secret partners. That's who they are. And look at the light coming from behind them, shining down upon them, the divine masculine, the guidance from the Father. And look at the number, 10. Full circle completion. You have completed a chapter in your life. There is a chapter that is ending and a new chapter that is about to begin. This is a message about magic. Magic and miracles rising around you. This is on an ethereal realm level. That's why I said all the things I spoke about was on a spiritual level. I dedicate this to, I honor to, right? On a spiritual level. I had an incredibly, I was woken up by my twin this morning. My heart chakra, it was like I could barely breathe. I used to be able to tell when he came into town. As soon as he came into town, I knew he was here because my heart chakra would start to spin. I could barely breathe. He would laugh. It was extremely uncomfortable for me, right? But this is what's going on. You have this energy. You are receiving an information from spiritual sources, from otherworldly sources. You may be receiving information from your ancestors, from your twin soul and spirit, your guardian angel, your family members, right? They're telling you, you need to detoxify. You need to clear your energy. You need to get rid of negative thoughts. So what I said to you was, what I wrote and what I spoke about today, I still stand by what I said yesterday, right? You need to remove toxic behavior. People that are used to fighting with and push your buttons and make you mad, right? So that they can get your energy, and that's not okay. That's not okay. That behavior is not okay. That needs to change, right? Lies need to turn to truth. Communication needs to be open. There are all kinds of things that need to be detoxified. It could be that there's toxic energy around them. They aren't able to come forward. It could be that you have toxic energy around you. It could be toxic negative thoughts. I got very angry because I get confused sometimes, right? But then I got to get right back on and know, wait a minute, why are you fighting with your twin, right? That's a human being, but don't fight with your spiritual twin. He's always there, right? You pick them up. So you pick them up by having positive thoughts. When one goes down, it doesn't help the other. If you go down, right? You elevate your thoughts. So at this time, all of these messages are coming to you and telling you that Spirit says that you are a peaceful activist for change. We are using you, right? This is a mission that you have. So when somebody comes against you, or you're fighting with someone that you love, you're not doing any good for this planet. Remember, we said we want peace in this world. How is this world going to have peace if we're fighting amongst ourselves? So we need to learn to detoxify ourselves, and we need to learn how to put the brakes on, right? We need to learn how to put the brakes on so that we can hold our energy in, our sacred energy, and keep ourselves in a place of calm. Find that peace in the midst of chaos. Don't fight with other people. Use your love and push that out instead, right? Use it in the environment. Use it for people around you. You're very, very strong, but you're very, very sensitive. Just like me, I cry on the drop of a pin, but I am strong as hell. So are you. Does that make what you are is a paradox? You're freaking bipolar. No, I'm not. You can't define me. Have you heard the song by Katy Perry, Rise? I'm beyond the archetype, right? You can't define me. We're a paradox. We're everything and all together. Strong, powerful, sensitive, right? Some of the things that you do, Spirit wants you to keep secret. Remember I said you don't have to tell everything. Spirit says there's certain things you don't know. There's also certain things that other people don't need to know, right? So to develop trust between one another, you need to know that you keep each other's secrets. Sometimes you have to keep your spiritual work quiet, depending on what you're around. Why waste your energy? Why expend your precious gifts if you're in an arena with people who are going to come against you toxic? You don't need that. Keep it to yourself. Why waste it? They're not hearing you anyway. It's not your job to convert people, right? So right now, Spirit says don't draw a lot of attention to yourself in certain, you'll know what it's in regards to. There are crystal children coming up in the world. They're very important, crystal children. My grandson's a crystal child. And they need to have the guidance of the ones who understand. They need to be raised loving their gifts, honoring their gifts, knowing when to share their gifts, when to keep their gifts under wraps, recognizing the power that they have, knowing that instead of having to use substances and fighting and arguing and being hurt, they can actually use their spiritual powers and gifts. We have to teach them that, but we can't teach them that if we don't do that ourselves. So this is what this is about. This is about helping these threatened ones survive. Remember the message we had of the dragonling guarding, the little dragon. There's only one like it left in the world. And you saw that one that had been hurt. And that woman was holding on to that one. And that little bird was very, very worried about that dragon. And I got to tell you, it's just the way it works. When I watched that, I saw my twin as that dragon. And I was the bird. Someone's caring for him. He's not in my physical presence. If he was, he would have his head on my chest. He does energetically. But I'm the little bird that's worrying about him. Very, very worried about him. But in the reverse, I am the dragon, because I am the dragon. And that woman that's carrying me and holding me is his family members, the ancestors, and also my spiritual twin's energy, and that little bird is him. So we also have to have that same feeling and love towards the ones around us, these little ones, these ones that are growing up. And it doesn't even have to be children. It's called rebirth, right? We're reborn and we're babes. My babe, he's called me babe since the day he met me. That's my name, babe, right? But a babe can be 50 years old. A babe can be 45 years old. When you have an awakening, and we're constantly reawakening. I remember he told me my Kundalini, I've had my awakening. My Kundalini, third eye, pineal gland, and at the time I'm like, oh wow, you don't ever fully awaken. We're constantly reawakening. Your Kundalini is constantly reawakening, right? So there's always we're always leveling up to the next level. And we're threatened. We are threatened because we are unique and we're different and we're strange, and we need to protect one another, and we need to stand together, and we need to let one another know that we are the united collective and you are never alone. We are always here. So all of these messages come into play. So Spirit is saying for you specifically, they want you to ask for blessings on your water and on the food that you ingest into your body, that your water be purified, that your food be purified. And remember, I told you that my Lily, when she was so ill, she needed water. She was so thirsty. That is spiritual love. That's love. It's emotion. But that's also spiritual, right? The water. Where did the Father say, go to the great wave? When the great wave comes, go to the mountain with the tablets, with the water, right? With the water outpouring, with your emotions, with love. It's love, 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 love. The food then is the knowledge, right? The information. So, all right. Next message. We go to I know we have, actually, do I know? Who do we say? We have the little prince. Okay, we have the frog prince. Okay, the frog prince, and then we have the lion. So, frog prince, I'm going to stick with this same deck to do the frog prince, and then I'm going to go back to the wisdom of the golden path for the lion, because I choose the lion, because that's me. So, frog prince, for those who chose the frog prince, correct for neutrality on all levels. It's a lesson. Okay, fairy lovers in reverse. So look at fairy lovers here. New love, courtship, romance, falling in love. The number is 46. And you see these two. This is about new love. This is what it is. It's like that giddy, excited, happy, falling in love feeling, That's what it is in the upright. But in the reverse, the message is you're resisting what is meant to be. Why are you resisting this? You are being blocked. Spirit is specifically blocking you because you're resisting. You are unable to accept the possibility of love. You're not allowing your heart to be open. The loss of either your belief in love or someone that you truly loved, the loss of someone that you loved in your life is making you cynical. I heard a song yesterday. I heard 2 words, and I knew what it was, and it took me a while to find it, but it was, and I started crying as soon as I heard it. My landlord's like, what's going on? It was, you'll never know the man you raised me to be. And it's basically, and I told you that I went to him in a dream, and he was very quiet, he was very sad, and I said, what's wrong? And he said, my caregiver had to go away. And I said, who's your caregiver? And where did she go? And he didn't say who she was. He just said, they took her away. And someone died. And I'm telling you, I saw that woman lying on that bed, right? That beautiful woman lying on that beautiful satin quilt in that beautiful home. I don't know if it was a woman. It could have been a very, very loving man, right? I don't know. I just know it was that energy. But there was a loss. And what I'm getting is the songs that it was the mom. Now, if he's a mirror of me, I lost my mother, so I would think it would be his mom. It makes sense that would be who was coming to me. That beautiful woman that I saw. And the song is talking about, I've changed, I've grown up, I've done this for you, and you won't ever get to see the man that I've grown to be. You're not here. You're not with me. Now, I don't know if it was his mom. Sometimes I wonder if it was me that he thought. My caregiver left. I walked away, because I kept giving him all that, and then I walked away. I don't know. But that's just a message. If you have had a loss of someone like that, someone you loved, your mom, your grandma, someone that loved you, a wife, a lover, I don't know. Maybe he had a girlfriend that loved him
a best friend, and she cared for him, and she died. I don't know. Maybe it was a guy. Somebody lost somebody. And because of that, they're shutting down their heart. They're unable to open up their heart again. They have grief. They don't want to be hurt again. It could be a past life thing. It could be someone from many, many years ago that's shut you down and not allowed you to open up again. But Spirit says we want you to stop. We want you to give that past experience over to us. Spirit says give it to us. Give that partner to us. If you have a problem with a partner now, give that to us. Surrender that to us. Surrender that situation to us. Let us work with this. What is it that you wish for? Spirit wants you to be open to new love. Because the blocks that you have set up, you have created on your own. Oh, I'm seeing the most beautiful sight. Oh, I know you can't see it. You might just see a line going across the water. See that line? Can you see the dark line? It's a mother. It's a mother with her whole string of little baby ducklings. Oh my gosh, it's the most beautiful sight. They're just tiny. All in order, following after mommy, right? Oh my gosh. So, you should expect and accept nothing less than what it is that you wish. I will never settle for less than everything. I would never settle for less than someone I get on every single level. I've said that before. Sexually, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically. Every level. They got to get me and I got to get them, or I won't go there. I don't dabble. I don't touch other people. I don't let them touch me. It doesn't happen. Spirit says, you deserve to be given the best. You're the one who is shaping your future. What do you wish for? Honor that and accept nothing less than that. You might have a feeling that you need to protect yourself, a tendency to do that. My twin does, absolutely doesn't share his emotions, holds his heart very, very close. Tries to hide his face, tries to hide his feelings. I can read him, but doesn't want to be read. Right? You don't want to open yourself up. Only if you feel safe. Maybe you'll open yourself up. I'm like that, right? I'm friendly to people, but, So, Spirit says that the fear, that overwhelming fear that this love will devour you, you'll lose yourself perhaps in somebody or something, that hurts you more. Because love can only make you stronger. Love can only make you stronger. Love heals. Love does everything. Love heals anger. Love heals bullies. Love heals fear. Love gives you courage to do the impossible. To go on when you didn't think you could. The only way that you are able to be harmed when it comes to love is if you give your power away. That's why I said, no one's going to take my power. No one's going to take my energy. No one crosses my boundaries. No one gets in unless I say so. When I give it to you, I give it 150%, but it's my choice, right? So if you have a healthy respect for boundaries in yourself, that will happen. You don't choose people that try to control you. Now that was the mistake, right? Maybe that's what he felt. I was strong. I come across like I want to control you. No. So maybe that's happened. Maybe you've been in a relationship before where someone was extremely controlling. Maybe your mom was. My mother was. My mother was extremely controlling. She controlled me to the day she died. Absolutely. I know she loved me. I know she was proud of me, but the relationship was dysfunctional, right? It had to be different. So maybe this is the situation. And you feel like, I have to come across like this badass, because if not, I'm too nice and people are going to walk over me. Remember I told you yesterday? I've made my statement. I've said what I want. I've said this is my boundary, and they were acting like they don't even hear me. They don't hear me. They don't respect me. They don't hear me until I freaking start screaming. Why? Because maybe that's what they grew up with, right? But I don't want to be that, right? So the problem is not me. It's the projection onto me. So maybe that's with you. The problem isn't with that person. It's you're projecting onto that person the past. And sometimes it's a projection of the way the person was in the past. See if things are different right now, because spirits wouldn't give you this message if not, right? So right now, Spirit says that they want you to admit your true feelings to yourself. They don't want you to judge yourself about anything, or even how you've handled things or how things have gone down. They want you to know that love is your birthright. They want you to feel that sacred bliss, that passion, that energy moving through you. Don't wall yourself up, right? You know what bliss is. If you don't know what it is,
If you haven't truly experienced it, don't you want to? Because you certainly deserve it. You're going to grow stronger when you share in a sacred love. You will. Open yourself up. Interesting that I knew that wasn't my message, right? My heart's open. There's that song, my heart is open. It wouldn't take long. Wouldn't take long for me to find another lover, but I want you, right? My heart is open. Correct for neutrality on all levels. The lion, I choose. Correct for neutrality. We're going to wrap this up in a good amount of time. Correct for neutrality on all levels. I hope that if you guys have found it helpful, that it wasn't boring, that I said that actually before, and I've had messages on my YouTube channel. No, I don't find it boring at all. I like it when you talk about your twin soul, because I'm not the only one, right? I told you I teach through my own experiences. So there's a lot of messages and lessons. You don't have to be in a twin soul relationship to get those messages, right? Everyone's going to have to struggle. Everyone's going to struggle until we go back to spirit. We're all going to have misunderstandings. We're all going to fight. We're all going to make poor choices, right? But when there's love and a willingness to work together, you can do anything, right? If you're dedicated, I choose to see the best in you. Sometimes when we get frustrated with each other and get mad at each other, we forget. But I've said a million gazillion times, just because I'm mad at you doesn't mean I don't love you. That does not mean I don't love you. But there's a lot of people that when you get mad at them, they think, okay, that's it. It's over, right? It's over. Done. I'm not that way. My grandmother taught me, we can agree to disagree. We are not always going to agree. My friend Tony got mad at me, remember? And he said, no one will speak to me that way, not even you. And I said, oh, I agree. I apologize. And then we kind of started, he didn't leave it there. He kind of went back. And I'm like, look, you know what? When you say to someone that it's over, it's over. Don't keep dragging it up. Don't keep bringing it up. Because if you want to bring it up, then clearly there's something else that needs to be discussed. Is there anything else that we need to discuss? Because we can go there, so let's go. So we went back and forth, and we weren't connecting. And he goes, I can see that you're not here. He goes, I can see that you're not, can't remember the word that he used. And he says, so let's just drop it. And I thought, I don't like the word drop it, because it's actually really never really dropped. It's always kind of like sitting there, right? I would say, can't we just agree to disagree, right? Because it's not reasonable to think that we will always agree on everything. We won't. We don't all like the same food, right? Why are you wearing that? I love this. Oh, come on. I don't really like that. What? Don't get your feelings hurt. I just don't like it. I'm sorry, I'm an Aries and I'm truthful, right? I got to learn how to be a little sensitive. I have had to learn how to be that way. My landlord is extremely sensitive. My roommates, I'm telling you. We all continue to learn. But when the love is so deep and the love is so strong, assume that the person loves you. Assume the best. Assume that they didn't mean that. I used to say that. Why do you assume that why would you assume that I said that? Why can't you assume I meant it in a good way? And if you felt that way, why didn't you just say something? If I had known, I could have told you right then, right? Communication is a big thing, and lack of communication is a huge problem. Causes misunderstandings. I've been showing that for a very long time. There's a huge misunderstanding between your twin and you. Okay, well, you can only do so much. You can't pull people towards you. You can just remain open, surrender it to spirit, and okay, it's come out 5 times, so I'm gonna show it to you. Soulmate. Okay, every time I shuffle, and I was wondering, I wrote it in the notes. I don't know if you guys saw it. How many times the Strange Valentine came out yesterday in the reading when I was shuffling? I watched it. It must have come out 7 times. And I kept looking at it, and I thought, that is so funny that I didn't, because I was talking to you, right? I was looking at you, and I was shuffling, and I wasn't seeing. But I watched it on the video, and I'm like, oh my gosh, over and over and over, I kept saying Strange Valentine, which means there's a great deal of cosmic energy around the area of your love life right now, especially healing, and especially long-term past relationships. It doesn't have to be lovers. It could be mom, dad, grandma, right? But relationships, even past life, right? And it also said that what they were wanting you to understand is you see a picture of that little girl and the monster next to her, and she's scared of him. But it could be a guy that felt that about her, right? And Spirit said, don't let the differences keep you apart, because it's exactly those differences that are drawing you together. You're fitting together like a puzzle piece, right? You're not going to be. It's not going to, and don't think that's not my usual type. Good. Your usual type didn't work, did it? Nope. None of mine did. This one's very different. This is the right fit. This one, this is the energy you felt. You knew, right? So, they also said that very soon you may find yourself bumping into someone that reawakens long-lost feelings that you thought that you would never feel again. And there's very good news that you were going to be getting in the form of a healing in a relationship. So that was pretty cool. All right, let's do it. Correct for neutrality on all levels. For those who chose, I remember who it was at this point, the lion. Roar. Cooperation. I like that. That's soul family, right? That's our physical family. That's our spiritual family. That's in relationships. Cooperation. Now, they look like they're having fun. They're playing around in their emotional waters. But we are going to look at this in all different kinds of ways, because what I'm getting straight off, I mean, the color again is green. Love and healing, right? So if you cooperate with one another, you see things from each other's perspective, or try, or are willing to try, to compromise, to try and understand that no one's going to see it always the way you see it, that we all come from a different perspective, different lifestyle, right? Raised in a different family, perhaps, maybe. So cooperation might be a missing ingredient right now in what's going on in your life, right? So you can achieve this if you cooperate with another, with spirit, with the people at work, with your family, with your friends, whoever this is. Try and take in to account how they might see it, that's different than you, right? Like I thought about my friend Tony. He had just gone through something very, very horrible with a very controlling person that hurt him really bad, a woman, right? He is not about to, his back is up. Right away, he wants to fight, right? Because that's what he was put through. I understood that. I know what he's been through. I watched it, right? So, and also, his pride was hurt. Don't knock his pride. Don't make him. So, and so I shut up. It was funny because I was working, right, when he was sending me messages, and I was working, and so when that happened, I just did a spread right away, and I got right away, King of Fire upside down, King of Wands in reverse, and that was like, so I thought, okay, and I thought, all right, so I just backed off. I'm like, all right, and I already said you're right, but I handled it that way because I could see. I asked Spirit for guidance, right? How do I handle this? What's going on here? Like, am I missing something? Because it's only by internet. Yeah, you are. He is totally upset. He is more upset than you understand. Okay, and he's being very stubborn. He's being, okay, got it. So what are you going to do? Are you going to push that button? You're going to needle that person? You're going to needle that person? Like the people were doing to me, right? Push, poke, until you just explode. Who wants that? Tony's the one who said to me, we're peaceful warriors. We have big sticks. He's in Aries too. The two of us went head to head once. It was not pretty, right? But we don't want to fight. So in this situation, same thing. There's a lot of different opinions here, right? There's a lot of different ideas here too, though. Just because you have an opinion doesn't mean that somebody else's isn't something you should listen to. They might have a really cool idea, a perspective that you didn't think of. I never thought about it that way before. And remember I told you I was sitting out here? I came out here one night. My landlord had a lady friend down for dinner, and they were, I didn't know they were on the patio. I came out to sit with, I think I was out here first. I sat with Liger on the deck, and they didn't know I was here because I was quiet. I was on the internet. I wasn't speaking. And I heard him say something about me, and it hurt my feelings. And he would probably deny it to the day he died, but I heard him. And I thought, wow. That's not true. And then I thought, well, because what he said was, I saw them down there. So I had a bottle of wine that someone had given me, and I don't drink wine, right? So I texted him and I said, here, why don't you give that wine to your friend, to your guest? And he goes, oh, and he heard the phone. She goes, your phone's ringing or something, right? And he goes, well, you know who that probably is. And I'm like I'm always calling him, which is the reverse, right? And I'm like, and then he looks at it and he goes, yep, just like I thought. And I'm like, okay. So I got kind of quiet and I thought, you know what? He's got a lady over, a guest over, right? And we need personal space. Remember? We're not in a relationship. He's just my landlord, but we're really good friends and we live in the same basic, environment. And what is it that is important for everyone to have? Interpersonal space, right? So I thought, you know what? We need a little space. He needs a little space. He might be feeling a little, I don't know what he kind of liked her and, next morning came up and told me a completely different story, but I heard it. But it made me think about myself. And I thought, I've said things like that. I've said that. Oh, God, he's driving me nuts, right? And at that moment, you're feeling that way. But in a moment when you're feeling like you want a friend, you're like, hey, what's going on? You like that, right? Maybe you're just in a bad mood that minute, and you say something, right? We're all guilty of that. We're all guilty of it. I told you, I said something to my twin. I know I hurt him by how I reacted to something that happened between us. But I didn't know I did at the time. I was hurt. I was hurt. And I was shocked more than hurt. And when he came back in the room, he asked me, did I hurt you? But I thought he meant physically because we were like wrestling around, right? And I thought he meant that. And I said, no. But he might have meant, did I hurt you? Did I hurt your feelings? Because he didn't say that. And I said, no. And then he was thinking, wow, well, you were a real bitch then, right? No, you hurt me. That hurt me. And he didn't understand why, because I didn't know how to express it, right? So cooperation means what? Communication also. Seeing things from another's perspective, communication. How can I know how you feel if you don't tell me, right? I don't know that. I'm not a freaking mind reader. Yes, I can be in your dreams and I freaking show up. I can stand there in remote view, but not all the time. And I don't know every thought in your head. I haven't been able to connect with him for a really long time. I hadn't felt him for a very long time. I've been feeling him a lot lately because he's clearly connecting with me, thinking about me, right? So at this time, communication is a key, right? Is there a misunderstanding? There's so many interwoven things. There's so many other things going on in someone else's environment. Maybe he snapped at me because he's super busy at work and stressed out and people are all over his ass and snapped, right? And you don't often, it happens. Shit happens to all of us, right? So this is asking you to try and create harmony. That's what I did this morning. That's how his family helped me this morning, how my mom helped me, how Lily helped me, how Lilith, the Jewish goddess, helped me, right? By setting the record straight. Hey, I said what I said, just like I said to Tony. I said what I said, but I know that probably hurt my twin's feelings when I said, especially my twin, right? But I was just very vehement at the moment about all of those other people that were doing all of this, right? And there were things that applied to him, absolutely. And I meant what I said. And that probably hurt. Sometimes the truth hurts, right? There are consequences for actions. And Spirit said to me, be careful of the way you say your words. Sometimes he's a very sensitive heart, right? And you don't know everything. You don't know everything. You don't want to hurt the person you love the most, right? So is this you? It is me. I'm guilty of it all the time. That's why I'm doing this reading. That's why I said what I did. I'm not bipolar. I don't go up one way and down the other. But we have different emotions and different feelings. And I'm also primarily giving these messages as a teacher. When I channel, stuff comes through me. It comes out. And, it's funny because you could be listening to something and thinking, I've had this happen before. Your friends write to me and thinking I was talking about them. I wasn't. I've had so many people write to me. I know you were talking to me. I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. And I said, they weren't even a thought in my head. I was thinking about somebody else. So that may be the case. Somebody may have thought you were talking about them when you weren't talking about them. You were talking about the people that did that to them, right? Why do you assume that I'm attacking you? I'm not attacking you, right? So think about all these different things. How can you create harmony? Well, what did I say? What did I do? How can I change this? How can I alter this? How can I, how can I learn from this so next time maybe I do it in a different manner? Whatever you think that you can do, Spirit will help you figure out what you can do to create harmony, right? See the best in them. See, I can see the negative qualities. I can list all the negative qualities off of my twin. I can list all my negative qualities off too, right? But we've got a lot of freaking amazing qualities, so why don't you focus on the positive qualities? Because when you focus on the positive qualities about them, your love comes up. You lift them up. The vibrational energy between you changes, and you start vibrating a frequency of love. It's healing. You can do that with friends, family, coworkers. I've done it with workers. Absolutely. Right? It all starts with your feelings, your thoughts. That's why. Keep your thoughts positive. You're creating your future. Right? And other people are going to feel good when you're generous to them. If somebody's made a mistake and they said, I'm sorry, forgive them. Let it go. Don't beat them with it. Don't be bringing it back up. Right? I appreciate it when you tell me so that I know. Right? I understand. Then I can do something about that. I'm kind of a man that way. Men like to know, how can I fix it? Right? Where women just want you to hear them. Well, sometimes maybe a man's more that way. Right? They want us to hear them. But I'm like, tell me so I can fix it. Because I've always been the fixer in my family. That was my role. My parents made me the fixer. So I want to fix the situation. I don't like things to be sick. I don't like things to be, is unharmonious a word? Disharmonious? I don't know. I want harmony, right? It's my word. So, and if you acknowledge somebody else's viewpoint, you may not agree with it, but you can listen to it. You might learn something, and even if you don't like the idea, they get to have that opinion, right? Maybe you don't like. People made fun of this when I went to Wisconsin. Oh, are you going to get a Pendleton jacket? Those, what are these? The Pendleton lumberjack jacket to fit in with those people back there? And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? These are the best people I've ever met in my entire life. And I happen to like this. Thank you very much. And I grew up, my uncle's a hunter. I grew up with this crap. Yeah, I like it. Maybe you don't. Maybe you're all Gucci'd out. I don't like that, right? I don't like it. I don't like LA. Maybe you do. You've got to figure out some kind of a compromise, right? I'm that girl. Got off the airplane and got in the taxi in Hollywood. There's a Hollywood sign. Everybody's so famous, Everyone's wearing stilettos. I guess I didn't get the memo. They're like, who's that girl wearing kicks? That'd be me, right? And I'm not going to change for you. That's who I am. And so, same with you, right? I probably, when I don't know, people say stuff all the time, right? So we have to see it from their point of view. We have to acknowledge their viewpoint, at least listen, acknowledge their viewpoint, right? And then we get a positive result. So here's an affirmation that we can say. This is my message, right? I know this. I'm listening to this. I'm doing this, right? I'm acting on it. So I create harmony by taking into account the needs of others. What does somebody need right now? I don't need you to fix that right now. I don't need you to fix me. I got that loud and clear too. I'm a man. I can take care of my shit. I know how to do this. That's why I said I expect my twin to do his own shit. But if he needs me, I'm here, right? Whatever you need. Do you need me just to be quiet and listen? I can do that. Do you need me just to give you a hug? I can do that. Do you need me to go freaking take that person out? Oh, I can do that too. Do you need me to help clean your house? I can do that. Just tell me what you need, right? So communication is the key. So I cooperate with those around me and I achieve my goals with ease. So intend that. I cooperate with everyone around me, everyone in my life, and I achieve my goals easily, right? I see the best in others. And in this way, I gain their respect. I respect you, you respect me. I see the best in others, right? I don't know who answered me on my, I'm thinking about that, on my twin's email address. Maybe it was his mom. Maybe it was his mom. I don't know who this is. And she's like, I don't know who you are, right? Who do you think you are talking to me that way? It was either his mom or his dad. I don't know. I had no idea who it was. I just thought it was an employee. And I thought, you were quite rude speaking to me, right? This is someone I love and I'm worried about him. I haven't heard from him in a year. He just disappeared off the face of the planet and he was going through a really hard time. So don't you tell me, stop writing here. I need to know he's okay. So how did I know who I was speaking to, right? I had no idea. But I'm a mama bear too, right? Somebody that I love is hurting. Don't come against me. So But what's funny is we both love the same person, right? Okay, you guys, I think we're going to get rain again today. This is a long reading, hour and 49 minutes. And I understand I have spoken about my twin a lot. And I know there are people that don't like it. They get annoyed with it. But this is my page, and that's my spiritual twin, and he needs to hear this. And I need for him to hear this. And Spirit told me to do this, so I'm doing it. So I hope that you guys have a beautiful day. I'm going to go have breakfast. I haven't even had breakfast today. And get working. Use this energy, you guys. This is a snuggly wug day. I'm going to have a nap later on. I was up way too late and up way early with all of my spiritual people. My twin woke me up early, man. And then everyone else that came afterwards. I wasn't about to go back to sleep. If you need help with a private reading or anything else I can help you with, my email address is sherrycolumbus@yahoo.com. And my website is www.theangelswhisper.com. And I would be honored. This is my path. Please, for those of you on YouTube, if you're new, welcome. Please click like, subscribe, and share the videos so that we can grow this page so that as many people as possible can hear this. I don't understand why my page is so small. It's interesting. I guess I have a select few. I don't know. It's weird. I guess because the other people are tarot and people like tarot readers, right? And this is more like guidance, and people, I think, aren't necessarily very much interested in what they should do. They just want to know what's coming, right? I just find it odd. But anyway, it is what it is, and Spirit will handle it. So I love you guys. Talk again soon. Bye.